progress in Kojoko. But on the more serious side, that was the... The most interesting thing about all this was that it went into our reflections this morning, and I was telling myself that probably this afternoon, me speaking here is not that important. I wish we had carried on with the discussions, but at the same time, too, one has to go into the formalities of presenting the paper so that we may continue dialogue. So please see the paper that I'm going to present more as dialogue, a continuation of the dialogue that we had starting from this morning. Now, I chose the topic mainly because of the theme of the paper. Now, if you look at the theme of the dialogue, it says values, identity, and poverty eradication. The three of them, one thing stands out, and the thing that stands out is identity. Your values go into your identity. You are poor also goes into the identity. That's a poor girl, that's a rich man. Both are identifiable terms. So that in really talking about it, we're looking at identity as a text. And that is why I write confused identities and the challenges of wealth creation. But before we even discuss what the confused identities are and the challenges of wealth creation, what is wealth? See, these are things you need to ask within a specific framework. Someone has a lot of goats and he's wealthy. He may have all the money in the world, he won't sell you his goats. In the West, several times you find out that people commodify life, or even quantify work, quantify existence. How right is it? Every breath out of me is part of my life. Can you put a monetary value on it? Can you quantify my life? But these things are done depending on where you stand from. So if you come from a particular paradigm, that sort of puts monetary figures on life. Then definitely, wealth depends on what it is. I may have a piece of land here. You may bring George. What's the name of the rich man? Bill Gates. I bring all the money that he. I said I won't give you this piece of land. But today, people are quantifying land. That's another school of thought. And then they say, oh, buying land for maybe 5 million cities, 10 million cities. Can you buy land? I haven't finished. Just imagine that Bill Gates comes here. He brings, how much does he have? $40 billion or something. Believe you me, he can buy all the land in the country. What happens to Ghanaians then? I don't want you on my land. So to really talk about wealth, you have to understand that wealth is a cultural thing. If you take somebody's culture or his attitude or the way he or she perceives wealth and bring it into your own, what you're doing is that you may damage your own values. This has been the problem with so-called wealth creation, so-called poverty eradication, because we never conceive this from our own world. We always conceive this from somebody else's world. Now, the Bantu have a proverb that they say, Bantu muntu ngumuntu ngabantu. I can't speak Bantu. So what I've said, if a Bantoid person were here, he or she may laugh at the way it might sound like ever to that person. But what it simply means is that to that culture, a person is a person because there are people. That is that culture. If you come in and do any other thing, then you are destroying those people's entity, the way they see the world. In Fante, they say, what will yimpa when to ebusiam? Or sometimes yimpa fisurba or bada yimpa kro. All that he's saying is that it is people who make a person, not a person who makes people a people. It's a way of reflection that if you don't go deep into it, you might not then understand maybe that the knowledge that you may be taking may be the harmful knowledge, because it comes from another worldview, which is not your own worldview. When we started this morning, I was very happy that the young lady who was with us, where is she?
No, she's gone back.
She's gone back. She sang so nicely. But when she started, somewhere along the line, she reminded me about Bob Marley, the song we all sing. We know where we're going. We know where we're from. We sing it, we dance it. I know where I am going because I know where I am from. I is the identity. If you have confusion about it, then you have a problem. I is the identity. I am. We, who are the we? We sing it. Do we think about it? Who is the we? That says that we know where we are from. It's such a song, and we sing it every day without really taking it to effect what the real meaning is. Who are the we? But we sing it. Is it the oppressed and the oppressor? Is it the black man and the white man? Is it the African vis-a-vis the European? Who are the we? Is it the poor man and the rich man? Is President Kufuor like George Bush, or is like me? Who do I identify with? Who belongs to this? Who shares the same identity that I have? The person who shares the same identity that I have shares my worldview. And that both of us look at the world from the same spectacles. What that means is that this morning there was a talk about education and so on and so forth. I always quote, what's his name? A Sufi sage, Al-Ghazali, who says, and I hope all of you here won't forget this. I say it so often, people forget it. All education is indoctrination.
Yes.
The best education is the indoctrination that makes you aware of indoctrination. If all of us sitting here have to wear tinted glasses, blue tinted glasses, in order to look at our world, and then I go and pick the green tinted glasses to look at my world, I am misrepresenting my world. I am misknowing my world. The knowledge I have is no knowledge. So I misknow my world. I hope you understand. So if you are miseducated, it goes into, then you're not cultured, because you are miscultured. And when you are miscultured, you end up misknowing your existence. So, as we are talking, the knowledge of self, I am. Who am I? People have said this, and the Greeks used to say, Socrates, what? The unexamined life is not worth living. He learned that from Africa. He didn't learn that from the Greeks. He learned that from Egypt. But we are busy learning what somebody else has meditated on that. Have you meditated on yourself as an African? And what it means by being African. This morning the lady talked about independence as well. And independence means freedom from colonial culture. Are we free from colonial culture? Bush came and the school children went round there holding flags. When Kufuor goes to Washington, the school children will stop. Am I right? They will go and stand by the street side. Kufuor has come and be waving Ghanaian flags. Ally? It's because the colonial officer came here, demanded that that is what he wanted. It was done, and we've continued it. The same thing goes for Independence Day. We march, we do the same thing, because we are afraid of it. I always laugh that when the lady also talked this morning, Dr. Anyidoho, she spoke about the early period when that confidence was there, and then we tried to break out of whatsoever mold that there was, whatever mistakes that there might have been. 1966, there was a coup d'etat. What did it do? We deal in symbols, and I always use the symbol in second B as my prime example. Those of you who've been to my village before, you'll see that there is a circle